Good afternoon and welcome to the Government, Labor, and Elections Committee. I'm Delegate Cherie Sample Hughes, joined by Chair Melissa Wells and Vice Chair Ken Kerr. Please set your electronic devices to vibrate, and I ask for your patience if we have any technical difficulties on today. As you know, we're dealing with some unprecedented weather. Also, as a reminder, there is no food or drink in the gallery. If you see us with drinks, it's because our members can be here for hours, depending on the hearing, and we need to stay hydrated, of course. For each bill, we will hear from the sponsor and their panel, followed by all in-person witnesses and then our virtual witnesses. Witnesses in each group will be heard in the order of favorable, favorable with amendments, and then unfavorable. If there is a large number of witnesses, we may alternate between favorables and unfavorables. Testimony is limited to 2 minutes. Our sponsor testimony will not be limited, but please be courteous to use that time wisely. And then just as a reminder, because of the weather, we have switched some persons from virtual to from in-person to virtual, just trying to be mindful of the challenges that are happening right now around the state. With that being said, we'll start off with House Bill 1552. Delegate Solomon.
Thank you, Madam Chair, colleagues, those of us that are experiencing this for the first time. It's exciting to be able to kick this off for new committee, and this will be a short hearing. For the record, Delegate Jared Solomon from District 18 presenting shortly House Bill 1552, which we are going to withdraw, but I just wanted to take a minute and share the reasons for the withdrawal. This bill would have created a new Class L license to allow manufacturers in the state, which for those of you that don't zealously look at the list of what each liquor license corresponds to, is for essentially breweries, distilleries, and wineries within Maryland to sell other manufactured spirits in the state of Maryland on their premises. So essentially you could have a distillery, a brewery, or a winery selling other Maryland-produced wines, beers, and liquors, which I think for most of us makes a lot of sense. I know there are a number of you who are working on these types of bills at the county level. We've heard a lot of folks who have been really interested in this. I want to thank my colleague Delegate Fair, who I know has done a lot of work in the city of Frederick and in Frederick County on this. The reason we're withdrawing the bill, as many of you know, there was a recent decision in a case around the constitutionality of delivering spirits in the state. And so in the interest of allowing that to play out and sort of seeing what constitutional issues emerge in the appeal and allowing that case to play itself out, I think there's been a movement among a number of us to sort of put these bills to the side for the remainder of the session until that plays itself out. But again, we know how important this is. I also want to lift up folks from the retail side of the alcohol industry have pledged to work with us during the interim over the summer on sort of a global solution. Obviously, some of our existing statutes are sort of workarounds, and I want to thank the retailers for publicly saying that they really, and to us, that they want to work with us. Thank them for that collaborative work that we're going to embark on during the interim, because I think it's incredibly important. I know I've got breweries and wineries in my district, and I would venture to say that most of us do as well, or we visited them. We know how important they are to the state, not only for our tourism and economic development, but also they do incredible work in supporting the agriculture sector in our state. Most of these manufacturers purchase their raw materials from small businesses and ag businesses across the state of Maryland, so it really is a win-win. And I don't like hearing folks in my district say they're going to Virginia and all their great wineries when we've got an incredible growing industry, no pun intended, here in the state that we should be uplifting. So with that, Madam Chair, this will be a very easy hearing. I will be submitting a letter to officially withdraw this, but wanted to at least make sure people knew why, because we've gotten a lot of attention on this, and I know that's really important to a number of folks.
Sure. Thank you, Delegate. Thank you for your work on it and your commitment to working over the interim. But right before you leave the table, I did want to just make sure, being this is you're the only favorable witness on this, are there any questions from our committee? Okay. Not seeing any. Thank you again.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call the unfavorable witnesses. Those are in person are Steve Wise and Jack Malani.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Steve Wise on behalf of the Licensed Beverage Association. In light of the delegates' withdrawal, I don't want to take your time given the long day, but I will ratify what he said, that we've committed to working with the advocates of this over the interim to figure something out.
Okay.
Happy to take any questions.
Any questions at this time for our witness? There being none.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wise. And again, I'll call Mr. Milani. Is that correct?
Ditto. He's good.
Ditto? Yes, we like you. We're off to a great start. Okay, thank you. This concludes the hearing for House Bill 1552. The next bill before us is House Bill 456.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and committee members. For the record, I'm Delegate Jessica Feldmark, and pleased to be here on behalf of the Howard County delegation to present House Bill 456. This bill authorizes the Howard County Board of License Commissioners to issue a permit to a person whose primary business is the sale and delivery of flowers, whose business includes the sale and delivery of gift baskets of flowers, food, or other items, and who does not hold another alcoholic beverage license or permit. The board is prohibited from issuing a permit for use in conjunction with or on the premises of a chain store, supermarket, or discount house. We are focused exclusively on florists, those types of businesses. And this is really important because in today's market, our local independent florists really face a number of challenges competing with national online services. So this is an important way to help support our small local businesses. A permit holder may sell and deliver to consumers of legal drinking age located in the county gift baskets containing specified volumes of beer, wine, or liquor purchased from a retail license holder. This is narrowly crafted and based on existing authority that exists in other jurisdictions. We are, as I said, looking for a small step to help support our local businesses and make sure we have proper safeguards in place. I am pleased to let you know that the Howard County delegation did support this unanimously, and you should have the letter to that effect in your files. So I respectfully ask for a favorable report and am happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. At this time, are there questions from our committee? Not seeing any. Thank you so much for the bill.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next piece of legislation we have is House Bill 1203. Delegate Heinbow.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to present House Bill 1203 for your consideration this afternoon. For the record, I'm Delegate Jim Heinbaugh. I represent District 1A, which is Garrett and Allegheny counties. This bill is also cross-filed as Senate Bill 802. And this bill has unanimous support of the Garrett County delegation, by the way, which is me, basically. So.
That sounds like Somerset County. It was always Delegate Otto of one.
That's true. Very briefly, this bill establishes a special event permit in Garrett County, adds a salaried substitute member of the Garrett County Board of License Commissioners, authorizes the holder of specific alcoholic beverage licenses with a catering option to sell alcoholic beverages anywhere in the county to a person of legal drinking age. It also requires that a caterer have at least one member of the staff with a current alcohol awareness training certificate, and that person has to be present at all times when the food and alcohol are being served. It also requires applicants for alcoholic beverage licenses to include on the application the applicant's citizenship status. Subject to any questions you might have, that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. At this time, are there any questions from the committee? There being none, thank you so much for the bill.
Thank you.
We will have House Bill 664, Cecil County Delegation. Okay, not. Okay. Okay. All right. Great to see you, Delegate Hornberger.
Hey, good afternoon,
begin.
everyone. Just want to go ahead and get started by thanking the committee for allowing for remote testimony because of the weather today here on the shore. We got hit a little bit harder. So just a heartfelt thank you. Madam Chair Wells, Vice Chair Kerr, this is Delegate Kevin Hornberger here on behalf of a local Cecil delegation bill, HB 664. This bill was at the behest of our liquor board and county executive in conjunction, and it seeks to do two things. One is make for Class B licenses more readily available throughout the county. And Cecil is a little bit unique, whereas Class A's are determined by the number of registered voters in each election district and precinct. And the second part of this bill seeks to change that number. Originally, we were at 400. There was a recommendation to go to 1,200. We do have an amendment that we have submitted with the bill that will basically change that back to, I believe, 2,000, but it'll make it so that there's no less than 2 available licenses for each sub-district. The reason that we went back and forth on the numbers is we didn't want to create a scenario where there was only 1 license available, as we have 3 precincts with low population. So with that, again, we do have the amendment at the desk. We will be submitting a letter of support for both the bill and the amendment from the delegation. And I believe we have our county executive and liquor board chair here to testify favorably as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Those who are testifying in favor of the bill that are present, are you present? Okay. All right, not seeing any.
Yeah, they may have
Delegate,
also
were
been
they,
caught up in
I'm
the
sorry, go
weather.
ahead.
I said they might have also been caught up in the weather.
Okay, okay. Well, we'll take questions from our committee members at this time. Are there any questions from the committee? And also, members, you do have the amendment that was just emailed just a few moments ago. Okay. There being none, thank you, Delegate, for the testimony, and thank you for the bill, and drive safely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. The next bill before us is House Bill 339. Delegate Simmons.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. Delegate Simmons on House Bill 339, Board of License Commissioners, Chief Inspector Compensation. This is the bill that has been passed out of our delegation with a letter of recommendation as well. So this is about increasing the pay for the inspector, Chief Inspector for Anne Arundel County Liquor Authority from an NR 5 to an NR 15 at this time. This bill has been reviewed by our House delegation, and a letter has been submitted for record.
Okay, thank you. And are you Mr. Aronson?
Mr. Hurdle. Mr. Aronson is sitting to my left behind me, as is Mr. Harris.
Okay. Feel free to go ahead and testify.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and Mr. Vice Chair. Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the Liquor Board. This position is currently graded at a grade 5 in Anne Arundel County. We're looking to bring it to a 15. The county graded the position and indicated they would grade it at a 15. We have a letter of support from the county council. I want to be clear because we've had some confusion and a lot of questions regarding, is this going to be a $30,000 or $40,000 raise, because it's a significant jump in grade? And the answer is no. Anne Arundel County's current raise situation when there's a grade change is that we can only give someone a raise between 5 and 15%. So we would be capped between that 5 and 15% range. Currently, the chief inspector makes $65,000. And this would end up being either a $3,000 raise or at the max end about a $9,000 or $10,000 raise. So it wouldn't be jumping from 65 to say 105 or 110,000, even though that's the cap of the NR15 range, it would be a between 5 and 15% raise. In Anne Arundel County, there are only 2 people who make a grade 8 or lower. The grade 5 is our chief inspector. The grade 8 is a custodial position in the county. There's no grade 6s and no grade 7s. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Aronson.
I believe Mr. Aronson and Mr. Harris are here just in case I had to kind of phone a friend, I think, ultimately.
Oh, okay,
get some
okay. Well, y'all are
information. My
very
apologies.
committed. Okay, so at this time, I'll ask questions from our committee. Delegate Chisholm.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the good of the order, because I know the answers, what was the vote coming out of committee?
I believe it was 10-6. There was an amendment that had been offered to make it to a grade 8.
And I think that amendment was offered last year too and wasn't accepted.
I think last year was a grade 6.
Right. And NR5 right now, I believe that the range for that is 36 to 67, and we're paying them 65, correct?
It's 67 through for year 2026. We haven't gotten to the 1-year anniversary for the chief, so he's at 65. That's correct.
Right. And in prior to 2021, the chief inspector was paid $11,000. Is that right? $12,000.
I think that's, my apologies, Delegate. I think that's a mild mischaracterization because it wasn't a full-time position. It made a change to a full-time position, and therefore the person doesn't make $3 an hour, correct?
Okay.
It's a full-time
I only asked because I remember when we went to NR5 and it was right after COVID, and there had been a lot of problems where we actually had to put a task force together because we had a lot of restaurant owners and saying, hey, we're having problems with the liquor inspectors because they're asking about building codes and tents and that sort of thing. And I think we put that to rest. And I was told at the time that if we go to NR5, well, it doesn't mean we'll go all the way to the top, but it seems like we are already at the top at 65. And if we go to NR15, that top is 110,000. So we're going from a part-time. This is the way I looked at it prior to 2021. From 11,000, now we could cap out at 110,000, and I understand that you can only go 15%. But I just wanted, for the good of the order, to understand that we're making, and look, I know we have a new chief inspector, probably a great guy. It's just a huge raise. I know that it's revenue neutral, and that's great. That it's one of the few things around here that's revenue neutral. But I just wanted that for the good of the order. Obviously, there were some people in the delegation that felt like, hey, we respect and we appreciate the work of the chief inspector. Why don't we do it from a 5 to an 8 instead of a 15? And I know that was voted down. It just seems like a huge leap. I just wanted those points on record, and with that, I really don't have a question unless you want to address those things.
No, I just want to say that I think that's I appreciate you bringing that stuff up. One of the reasons we looked at a 15 is when we looked at all the other counties, I think we looked at Howard, Montgomery County, any county that has a chief inspector position, Baltimore City, Prince George's, their chief inspector, the grade would actually be higher than a 15, probably closer to an 18. One of our concerns, and it's difficult to split the position in the current gentleman there, who's, as you indicated, he's phenomenal. Beyond that, one of the concerns that I think the board has, and that I certainly share, is that we have this guy now who does a great job. My fear is he's going to do it for 3 years, and then Montgomery County or Prince George is going to come calling, and he's going to take a $50,000 pay increase when he goes there. And then we're going to be stuck looking for somebody who we hope will do a good job for $65,000 for 3 years before Montgomery or Prince George's or Baltimore City come calling. Or it's going to be someone who's not quite very qualified, because I don't think people who are extraordinarily qualified would necessarily want to do this job. He works and is on call 24 hours a day. As an example, 2 Sundays ago, Super Bowl Sunday, I called him and said, hey, I have a bunch of questions about this, this, and this. And we spent about 45 minutes on the phone addressing different issues, and he didn't complain once. He's got a young son too. So right. he is on top of things. And we would hope to keep a person who is as on top of things going forward. I think that might be difficult at the current level.
Sure. Duly noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Any other questions from the committee? Okay. Not seeing any. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 339. Thank you, Delegate Simmons.
Thank you.
The next bill before us is House Bill 512. Delegate Pruski. And you have the same witness.
Thank you.
Feel free to begin.
Good morning, Madam Chair, or I should say good afternoon. Thank you to the committee for hearing me today. This is HB 512, Anne Arundel County Board of License Commissioners Part-Time Inspectors Compensation. This bill is pretty simple. It adjusts the annual salaries and the cost of living, salary increases for the chair and certain part-time inspectors and other members of the Board of License Commissioners for Anne Arundel County. It satisfies and provides a mechanism to align future increases with the cost of living adjustments for non-represented employees. And I do want to highlight, we had to add an amendment to clarify that. And hopefully the committee saw that. If not, we'll get that to you. But that was a technical amendment that was there. But thank you for your time. I respect a favorable report. And certainly we do have the Board of License Commissioners here if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Mr. Hurdle, would you like to expound upon?
Happy to. Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair. Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the Board of License Commissioners and, sorry, other committee members as well. My apologies. This gives an 18% raise to the commissioners at the Liquor Board, as well as an 18% raise to the inspectors, the part-time inspectors. The last time the part-time inspectors received a raise was 2020, and the last time the commissioners received a raise was 2007. An 18% raise sounds significant, but when you look at the inflation rates for the commissioners, it'd be a 55% raise, but again, we're giving them 18%. And for the commissioners, I believe it worked out to be roughly a 22% raise. So still underneath that. And again, it just ties the future income to a cost of living. These are people who work really hard, spend a lot of time doing this. And we just like to make it so that if we don't come back every 5 or 6 years, they're not getting a pay decrease for the same or better work every year. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them now.
Sure. And the other two gentlemen, they're here for a phone a friend again.
Absolutely. I think that's the way it's going to be for all of our
Just want to
bills.
overlook anyone. Thank you. At this time, are there any questions before from the committee members? Not seeing any? Okay. Thank you so much for your testimony. And this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 512. Okay. The next bill we have is House Bill 519, also Delegate Pruski. Feel free to begin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the sake of brevity, I'll get right to the point. Once again, Delegate Andrew Bruschi here on 519, Anne Arundel County Alcoholic Beverages Entertainment Permits. Essentially, this bill alters the title of certain entertainment permits for alcoholic beverage licenses. It updates the description to be more accurate for its use. Really, the intent of the bill is to clarify language. When we were talking with the Board of License Commissioners, this is something that's come up on several occasions, and we certainly have the rationale and data for that. Again, delegation support. Thank you for your time, and I do have the Board of License Commissioners here as well to provide any details. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hurdle?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the Board of License Commissioners. This doesn't increase the cost to licensees. Anne Arundel has a 4-tier or no tier and then 3-tier above entertainment program. And the current wording of the law is frankly very confusing to both licensees, prospective licensees, community members, and even attorneys that I myself have gotten confused by the different tiers. The changes are technical and they make it a little easier to understand so that you can kind of guide clients, licensees, and community members to more clearly understand what entertainment is permitted in various tiers. And I think it also changes the number of televisions at our tier 1 level from what used to be 2 televisions to they can have more than 2 televisions, which is just a modernization in that regard.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? And thank you for explaining that a little bit further, because actually when I was reading it, I was getting a little confused. But I do have a question for you.
Please.
So now the wording that you're looking for from a dancing permit to full entertainment.
Correct.
And the same with general entertainment. So is that, you got that standard language from somewhere that's already using it, or this is just one that your group got a consensus on and say, let's just clean this language up?
We've spoken to the Licensed Beverage Association. They haven't had any questions or concerns regarding it. Ultimately, for us, it was a matter of taking the current tiers and trying to balance the way people use them, whether kind of correctly or incorrectly, and making everything just plain fit better. I think at our general entertainment, you can have occasional dancing as opposed to absolutely forbidden. This would mean that you don't have a permanent dance floor as opposed to a permanent dance floor with a full entertainment permit. It just makes it much easier for licensees to operate without running afoul of our rules and coming before us on a violation.
Okay, and the second part was the fees. They're pretty much standard as well.
They're the same fees that we've had for the different tiers in the past. I believe they range from 200 to 400. So I think it's a tier 1 is a 200, I think tier 2 is 300, and tier 3 is a $400 permit. That fee is staying the same.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. All
welcome.
right, this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 519. The next bill we have before us is House Bill 522, also Delegate Pruski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, for the record, Delegate Pruski on HB 552, Anne Arundel County Alcohol Beverage License Class C per diem license fees. This bill alters the license fee structure for Class C per diem, which is beer, beer and wine and liquor license issued by the Board of License Commissioners for Anne Arundel. The restructure of the Class C is a one-day license for large events, especially when you have multi-vendors. The rationale, again, the data for this change can be provided by the Board of License Commissioners. And again, we do have a delegation letter. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Hurdle.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Abraham Hurdle, on behalf of the Board of License Commissioners for Anne Arundel County. The Anne Arundel County Liquor Board issues roughly 1,600 one-day permits a year. Of those, 11 different establishments or venues or, I guess, events are issued 40 different licenses over multiple events. Those 11 have more than 500 people attending their events on a regular basis. The concern that we had is they often have more than one point of sale. So I believe the Renaissance Fair is one that's come up repeatedly in our discussions, and they typically have between 11 and 13 points of location where they sell beer or wine. The amount of resources that we use to patrol and enforce and just inspect the 12 or 13 or 11 points of sale is significantly greater than, say, a small one-day event that someone has just for a charity or for a small benefit or a wedding. As a result, this way, the current change would be for events to over 500 people, and it more closely reflects the way the health department does their permitting, and again, provides more resources to the board, who is expending more resources on the inspections. We actually spoke to the individuals who run these 11 events, and we haven't had any pushback. Everyone seems to understand the change and the reason for it. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? There being none, thank you so much, Delegate. And this concludes the hearing for House Bill 522. Okay. The next bill also is Delegate Pruski. That is House Bill 682. He is keeping us busy on today.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I used to serve on the committee, so I understand. But thank you all for your patience. HB 682, Anne Arundel County Alcohol Beverages Golf Course License and Sports Activity Venue License. Essentially, in summary here, this bill establishes a golf course license which authorizes the holder to sell beer, wine, and liquor for on-premise consumption at a golf course with at least 9 holes in Anne Arundel County, and make it a sports license to authorize the holder to sell, obviously, that beer, wine, and liquor license. Really, the intent is to update language. There had to be some clarity and framework. I know there was a lot of discussion in our county about making sure that this is separate, and especially with fitting in with the existing tavern and restaurant license. We want to make sure that that's separate and it's clear. So really, that's the intent. There was an amendment also that was added, and it had to do with the identification of making sure we clearly identify the license. So instead of being a C, we said GC for golf course. So certainly we added that amendment. And again, thank you for your time. We do have the Board of License Commissioners here if anybody has any clarity or any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Mr. Hurdle.
Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee, Abraham Hurdle on behalf of the Board of License Commissioners for Anne Arundel County. The goal and the change here is that currently entertainment venues typically use Class D licenses, which is a tavern license. The drawback to that is our definition of a tavern requires both a 3-bay sink and the prohibition of anyone under the age of 21 at a location. One of the places that comes up for us is there's an axe throwing place that has just recently opened, and they had to incur significant costs to install a 3-bay sink at their bar, even though the only alcohol they serve is canned beer. So that's something that we're trying to avoid. In addition, if there's a public golf course that currently has a D, they're not supposed to have anyone under 21 there. And this doesn't allow anyone under 21 to drink. It doesn't change those rules. It just means that if a public golf course switches from a Class D to this new GC license, all of a sudden they don't have to have the 3-bay sink, and they can have someone who's 16 go golfing with their parents. It's basically just a way to try to better create a license that better fits these venues. I think pickleball places are another place that we've heard have some concerns because they have members who are under 21 who want to attend, and they would be prohibited under a Class D, but under this license, they'd be allowed to go to the location. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to address them now.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the committee? Now, with the pickleball, we're not going to go to PC and all of that. We're just going to stay with GC, right? Okay. All right, thank you so much. This concludes the hearing for House Bill 682. The last bill of our Delegate Pruski is House Bill 1111.
I promise this is the last one. I'll wait for folks to come up here. We do have a panel, but I'll start so we can, for the sake of time. Thank you, Madam Chair. HB 1111, alcoholic beverages, Class 3 wineries and Class 4 limited wineries bulk wine. This bill consists of a minor technical fix that will enable our Class 3 and Class 4 wineries to be more resilient. As you know, in Maryland, we take pride not only in our wine, but in our wineries, and especially want to promote Maryland agriculture when it's particularly a strong year. HB 1111 codifies that farm wineries can sell and transport bulk wine for production wineries that production wineries may acquire the bulk wine from them. This encourages the use of Maryland grapes, which will lead to the separation of Maryland grape vintage acreage. Additional amendments for the Maryland Winery Association will also enable wineries to produce distilled brandy from their winery fields, and it's not just Pomace brandy. Again, in simple, this bill would help Maryland wineries. You'll hear today some testimony on that. I want to thank you for your time and your patience and appreciate a favorable report on HB 1111. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And for in-person witnesses, I have Matthew Bowl. Did I say that correctly?
Bowley.
Bowley. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then also someone representing Far Eastern Shore Winery.
Correct.
And how do you say your name? I'm sorry.
Tian Sang Chu.
Tang Sheng Shu. Okay, thank you so much. Please begin.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Matt Bowley here of RWL on behalf of the Maryland Wineries Association in support of HB 1111. I'll be very brief, as Delegate Pruski summed it up very well. This is a technical fix between our Class 3 and Class 4 wineries. I refer to them as our farm wineries and production wineries. It's just to be able for them to codify so that these wineries can sell and deliver bulk wine, from the production or the farm wineries to the production wineries. That's it. Plus an amendment that Tian Singh will talk about regarding Pomace brandy. With that, I urge a favorable report.
Okay. Thank you. Feel free to begin.
Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee, I am Tian Sang Chu, owner of Far Eastern Shore Winery, located in Easton, Maryland, Talbot County, where I reside. I feel you should take a favorable amendments position on this House Bill 1111. Maryland Class 4 winery law permits us wineries to make wine not only from grapes, but from other types of Maryland fruit and agricultural products, such as honey, peaches, or watermelon. Brandy is a distilled spirit made from distilling wine of any sort. Wine is heated, the alcohol is boiled off, condensed into spirits, and that's what brandy is. Current Maryland law states that a Class 4 limited winery license holder may distill and bottle Pomace brandy. And it defines that Pomace brandy is defined as a brandy that is distilled from the pulpy residue of wine pressing, including skins, pips, and stalks of grapes. Therefore, a winery that takes mead, for example, which is a wine that is made from honey, or watermelon wine, and distills it, it is not making Pomace brandy, but brandy. Thank you for your time and opportunity for me to show my support for this legislation. So I'm open to any questions.
Sure. Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Not seeing any. Thank you so much for your bill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
That concludes the hearing for House Bill 1111. The next bill we'll hear is House Bill 727, Delegate Rogers.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the Government, Labor, and Elections Committee. For the record, Delegate Mike Rogers, Legislative District 32, and I respectfully request a favorable report of House Bill 727. This bill was worked with the military advocates and has full support of the Anne Arundel County Board of License Commissioners. This local bill that expands our veterans organization licenses to be inclusive of all uniformed services organizations, not just the previously indicated armed forces organizations, just as we did last year with the military modernization package that passed into law. It simply makes changes to be consistent with other Maryland laws. Therefore, I respectfully request a favorable report on House Bill 727.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Not seeing any. Thank you so much. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 727. The next bill before us is House Bill 874. Delegate Simmons.
Once again, for the record, Delegate Gary Simmons. Thanks to be before you again, Madam Chair and Vice Chair and Committee. This is the Board of License Commissioners alterations. This is giving the board the ability to change its membership from 3 members to 5. This was a bill that was brought before last year in which the governor's office had vetoed it. This year, we're in agreement with that, working with the appointments office for the purpose of identifying individuals to serve within the board and for to be appointed through the governor's office. At this time, if you have any questions, I'm available.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Okay. Not seeing any. Thank you, Delegate, for your testimony. And this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 874. Okay. The next bill before us is House Bill 1286.
Hi, members of the committee. Thank you so much, Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Maddie Meyer. I'm Delegate Baylor's Chief of Staff, testifying on behalf of him today. This is a technical expansion of a Class SL license, which is the Anne Arundel County license for barbershops and beauty salons to be able to serve 1 glass of beer and 1 glass of wine. This bill would simply expand that to also serve an equivalent glass of liquor. Thank you so much for your time, and that's all.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions before the committee? Okay. Not seeing any. Thank you so much for your testimony. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 1286. The next bill before us is House Bill 406, Prince George's County Delegation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So good to all you. Good to see you all. For the record, I'm Delegate Jamila Woods with Prince George's County Law Enforcement. HB 406 provides that while a person or premises may generally hold 1 board-issued license, the restriction does not apply to Class B on-sale beer and wine licenses or Class B on-sale beer, wine, and liquor licenses in Prince George's County. We had a similar bill establishing an exception from the prohibition against issuing multiple licenses to the same person or premises in Prince George's County. That was introduced during the 2020 session. That was HB 281, and we're asking for a favorable response for this.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee? Okay, not seeing any. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 406. Okay. The next bill hearing will be House Bill 443.
Yes, thank you again, Delegate Jamila Woods. For the record, Prince George's County Delegation, this is from the County Executive. This one was favorable with amendments. I can tell you as amended, if you'd like to hear previous, I'm happy to share. As amended, this bill establishes a Class B Small Event Center, or SEC, beer, wine, and liquor license in Prince George's County. The license may be issued for small event centers with kitchen and dining facilities accommodating 75 to 110 individuals and allows the on-premises sale of beer, wine, and liquor to attendees. No more than 24 licenses can be issued per year, with a maximum of 3 per state legislative district at any time. Eligible event centers must have a minimum capital investment or appraised value of $350,000, excluding land, buildings, or leasing, and provide food during operating hours. License holders may sell alcohol according to Class B license hours, which are subject to county occupancy laws, and the annual license fee is $3,500. I would ask for your favorable approval of this.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 443. And my apologies. Any questions from the committee? Okay. Again, thank you. This concludes the House Bill hearing for House Bill 443. The next House Bill is 558.
Again, Delegate Jamila Woods for the record. I believe that Delegate Kim Taylor is here also, if you'd like to join me. This bill was favorable with amendments, and again, I can read the amendments if you'd like to hear them. The bill repeals the restriction on the number of wine festival licenses that the Board of License Commissions for Prince George's County may issue annually. Under existing law, the board may only issue 1 license each year. In addition, the bill repeals the prohibition, and this is where the amendment took place. In addition, the bill repeals the prohibition on issuing a wine festival license in the 24th Legislative District in Prince George's County. A holder of a wine festival license may display and sell wine that is manufactured and processed in any state and distributed in the state when the license application is filed. A license holder must display and sell wine for on and off premises consumption during the hours and days designated for the wine festival. This is Delegate Taylor's bill, so I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything.
I do have testimony. I thought I should. And there's also folks here from Maryland National Capital Park and Planning. I hope
Yes, I have 3 that are going to be called up.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Should I proceed?
Sure.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the GLE Committee. For the record, I'm Delegate Kim Taylor, representing Prince George's County's District 23. House Bill 558 is a Prince George's County delegation bill that simply lifts a restriction on the number of wine festival licenses that are issued each year in our county. Today, Prince George's County is restricted to 1 wine festival per year. I know you're wondering why. The answer is unclear, but what we do know is no other jurisdiction has the same limits as Prince George's County. Additionally, on page 2, section E, there is a further restriction that District 24 should never be considered as a location for a Prince George's County Wine Festival. So with the full support of our District 24 colleagues, we have struck that restriction, and you should see in the amended version of the bill that that's now gone. House Bill 558 does not open the floodgates for wine festivals. Reasonable boundaries still exist, and the Board of License Commissioners will continue to work within their applicable guidelines for granting wine festival licenses. I have panel members here, as I said before, from Maryland National Capital Park and Planning, who brought the issue to my attention, actually, and can add details about their experience of having to work within this very odd rule. So I'm asking for your favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. I would like to bring to the table those who are favorable in person. I have Jordan Bockham Colbert, Brittany Lassiter, and Angela Anglin. Okay, feel free to begin.
Okay. Greetings, Madam Chair and the entire GLE committee members. For the record, my name is Jordan Bockham Colbert, Senior Government Affairs Analyst in the Office of General Counsel for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commissions. The Prince George's County Planning Board has voted to support HB 558 Wine Festivals Bill. We have submitted testimony on the record as well. We want to give thanks to Delegate Kim Taylor for sponsoring this bill, as well as the Prince George's County delegation for its support. In an effort to increase tourism and revenue in Prince George's County, it is vital for the current restrictions on the number of wine festival licenses that the Board of License Commissioners for Prince George's County issue annually be uplifted. You will hear from my colleagues today with respect to the current state of the wine festivals in the county and the utmost importance of the bill. Again, thank you for your time, and we recommend that the committee vote favorably on this much-needed piece of legislation.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and the full committee. I am Angela Anglin, Division Chief for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County. About 12 years ago, the Department of Parks and Recreation began hosting a Concert in the Park series at various neighborhood parks in southern Prince George's County. The concerts featured different genres of music, and attendance ranged from 100 to 1,400 people at each concert. And these are free events for family, friends to gather, or even date nights. Hearing community feedback and residents' desire for a wine festival, I researched Department of Parks and Recreation agencies that were hosting wine and beer festivals throughout the country, and there are a number of them. And as a result, in 2015, the Department of Parks and Recreation, Prince George's County, hosted our first wine festival entitled Unwine With Us. Since its inception, we've hosted 7 wine festivals over the past years, with the exception of during COVID years. Over the same years, despite the one festival per year rule, multiple wine-focused events have occurred in Prince George's County. 7, including ours in 2025. Additionally, neighboring jurisdictions allow more than one wine festival a year. The District of Columbia had more than 5 last year. Charles County had 3 wine festivals, with one being a 2-day event, and Howard County had 3 wine festivals, with their 33-year annual Wine in the Woods being held over a 2-day period. So as you can see, we're not the only ones hosting wine festivals. Since ours is typically in September, under the current law, we run the chance of not being able to host this event. We encourage this committee to give this bill a favorable report. It will increase tourism and revenue in the county, increase accessibility for community organizations, and strengthen the county as a competitive destination for the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
All right. Greetings, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and the full committee. My name is Brittany Lassiter, and I serve as the Parks and Recreation Community Supervisor for the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. Under current county rules, only organizers holding a Class C3 or Class C4 license, nonprofit, social, fraternal, or civic organization, or retail license may apply for a wine festival permit. The county also limits the issuance of only one wine festival license each year, as you've heard, and the event cannot occur within 14 days of the Maryland Wine Festival or conflict with neighboring counties' dates. A hosting retailer or winery is required, and participating wineries must pay additional fees. This structure restricts accessibility and prevents community-serving organizations like the Department of Parks and Recreation from independently offering high-demand cultural events, yet we know resident interest is strong. Wine-focused events, such as those held at Bowie Town Center, the Bowie Baysack Stadium, and past festivals in Clinton, demonstrate ongoing demand and inconsistent application of the one festival rule. Across Maryland, counties vary. Montgomery County allows wine festivals on up to 4 weekends per year, while others, such as Anne Arundel, maintain single event limits. These differences highlight that Prince George's County rules are among the most restrictive, particularly given our size and population. Revising Prince George's County's permitting structure and specifically removing the cap on the number of wine festival licenses will modernize our process, increase accessibility for community organizations, and strengthen our county as a competitive destination for cultural and recreational programming. We hope that you will support.
Sure, thank you. And we do have one more witness from the Prince George's County's Executive Office, Mr. Terrence Shepard. Are you present? He's not here? Okay, all right.
No, he's not testifying on this.
Not testifying, okay. At this time, are there any questions from the committee? Okay, Not seeing any. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll now move to House Bill 582, Prince George's County delegation.
I don't know which microphone I'm using now. Thank you again.
There you go.
For the record, Delegate Jamila Woods, House Bill 582, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverage Licenses Voter Registration Requirement. This is PG 18-26, excuse me. The bill repeals a requirement for certain alcoholic beverage licenses in the county that requires certain individuals be a registered voter in order to apply for or sign a license application on behalf of certain entities. The voting requirement applies at the county or state level, depending on the license or the entity applying for the license. As a summary, to apply for or sign an application for certain licenses related to alcoholic beverages in Prince George's County, the applicant must be, or the application must be signed by an individual who's a registered voter, among other requirements. This bill repeals that voter requirement because, needless to say, you have to be a U.S. citizen, and so you do not need to necessarily be a registered voter for the application. We're asking for your favorable response.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Are there any questions from the committee? Okay, and just for my clarification, just understanding, so it was saying that you had to be a registered voter in order to secure a license?
Correct. In the county, you had to be a registered voter. We'd like to repeal that.
Okay, repeal that, and
it's already required that you're a U.S. citizen.
Got it. Thank you so much for the clarity. All right. No additional questions. Then this concludes the House bill hearing for HB 582. The next bill is House Bill 583, Prince George's County.
Thank you. For the record, Delegate Jamila Woods, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Notice of Issuance of Class C per diem beer, wine, and liquor license. This is PG 319-26. Under existing law, when the Board of License Commissioners for Prince George's County issues a Class C per diem beer, wine, and liquor license, the board must notify various personnel in the county, including the director of the county's Department of Environmental Resources, as so-called in state law. The bill updates the name of the agency to the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement. So this is just making sure that the right people are addressed. It is now, the bill has to be, the information has to go to DPI. So the updates for the bill are to go to DPI. It's just a name change, the correct name.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee on this bill? Okay, there being none, this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 583. Thank you, Delegate. Okay, and we will move to House Bill 1270.
Thank you, Delegate Jamila Woods. For the record, this is Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Notice of License Applications. I have Terrence Shepard here with me from Prince George's County. This bill was favorable with amendments. The summary is that under existing law, the Board of License Commissioners must hold a hearing to approve an alcoholic license and must also publish notice of the hearing in various ways. One method of publication currently required is by publishing notice in at least 2 newspapers in circulation in the county. The bill repeals notice by newspaper and instead requires the board to provide the notice through publication on the board's website, social media, and email. Other notice requirements in existing law remain unchanged. As amended, the bill also requires that to the extent there are any cost savings to the board as a result of the changes in notice methods, the board must use the funds generated by the cost savings for the maintenance and management of the board's vehicle fleet and to explore other methods of providing the notice that are different than those required under the Act. Under existing law, a local licensing board in the county may approve an application for a license if the local licensing board publishes notice of the application 2 times in 2 successive weeks in either 1, 2 newspapers of circulation in the jurisdiction, or if there's only 1 newspaper in circulation. The notice must include the name of the applicant, type of license being sought, the location described in the application, and the date, time, and place set for the licensing board hearing on the matter. This requirement applies statewide as a general rule, but counties may alter notice requirements individually. And so I have Terrence Shepard.
Thank you
The
very
director,
much.
go ahead.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Terrence Shepard, and I serve as the Director of the Prince George's County Board of License Commissioners, and I'm here today to express our strong support for House Bill 1270. House Bill 1270 would remove the statutory requirement that the board advertise agency hearings in 2 local newspapers. While this requirement may once have represented the most effective means of public notice, the way that residents receive information has changed dramatically. From a fiscal perspective, the board currently spends approximately $12,000 per year on required newspaper advertisements. Advertising fees continue to rise, even as circulation declines. During the height of small paper distribution in the 1980s and 1990s, when Prince George's County population was just over 700,000, local print publications reached nearly 50% of households. Today, with a county population approaching 1 million residents, print circulation reaches roughly 1% of households. Simply put, we are paying more to reach significantly fewer people. The savings realized from this bill would not simply sit idle. I'm actively working to free up additional resources to establish an agency fleet. Our inspectors are currently the only inspectors in the region who rely exclusively on their personal vehicles to conduct official enforcement duties. This method of transportation is increasingly becoming a safety concern. Establishing a fleet would improve inspector safety and ensure our team has the appropriate resources to carry out their responsibilities effectively. Importantly, removing the newspaper requirement does not diminish transparency. The board already utilizes multiple widely accessible communication platforms to notify the public of hearings and agency actions, including our official BLC website, our Facebook page, and our electronic listserv distribution that reaches community members, elected officials, civic associations, and other stakeholders in real time. We also understand that many of our senior residents continue to rely on printed materials. We are mindful of that reality and actively strategize ways to remain inclusive of our senior population. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Shepard. Just a quick question for you before I open up to the members. What's the average cost that it was, that even before we passed the bill, if it's passed, what type of savings would you be realizing? Because I know the way that you're wanting to do it is to help offset the cost of maintenance. So I was just curious, what do those numbers look like?
It's about $12,000, between $12,000 and $14,000 a year.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Oh, Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so just for the record, this bill is pending in the delegation. There was a hold put on it, and there could be further amendments. We will make you aware of that before you take it up in subcommittee.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you kindly. Any additional questions or? Okay, seeing none. At this time, this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 1270. The next bill before us is House Bill 611, Prince George's County Delegation.
And thank you, Delegate Lehman. I had flipped to the other page. I didn't indicate about the amendments. Thank you so much. House Bill 611, Delegate Jamila Woods again. Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverages Fees. This is PG 317-26. It was initially presented inaccurately as 416-26. This bill increases various application, license, permit, and license transfer fees related to alcoholic beverages in Prince George's County. The fee increases are specified in the bill. There are approximately 50 fees changed. This is the first time in many years we've had any increases. A very limited fee increase for Class A, B, and C licenses. I have Terrence Shepard again here, the Director for the Commissioner, if you'd like to speak to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Terrence Shepard for the record again. I'm here today to support House Bill 0611, legislation that would increase alcoholic beverage application license permits and license transfer fees in Prince George's County by 10%. This is a modest and measured adjustment. The smallest annual license fee currently is $500, and that 10% would increase that to $550. A $50 increase equates to approximately 13 cents per day. The most expensive license that we have is a $25,000 license for our football stadium, NFL stadium, and that would increase by 10% as well, which is $2,500 annually. To put that into perspective, for our professional stadium that hosts approximately 10 home games per year, a $2,500 annual increase equates to roughly $250 per event. When viewed in that context, the adjustment is proportional and reasonable. Importantly, this is not a structural overhaul of our fee system. It is a responsible update designed to keep pace with rising operational costs associated with regulation, compliance, monitoring, and enforcement. I respect your favorable response.
Sure.
And I'm also available for any questions you may have.
Absolutely. Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Okay. Not seeing any. This will conclude the bill hearing for House Bill 611.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next bill before us is House Bill 1474.
That's not me.
Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you.
You may begin.
Hello, Madam Vice Chair, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is John Sanick on behalf of Delegation Chair Ebersol for House Bill 1474, Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverage Licenses, Transfers, and Conversions. This bill, as introduced, deals with Class B and D licenses that were transferred out of oversaturated election districts to other election districts. Current law prohibits those licenses to be transferred again or converted to another class of license. HB 1474 also repeals those restrictions. The bill also repeals the transfer and conversion restrictions on any new licenses that were issued based on population increase in the district, and revoked licenses that were reissued by the board. And for the amendment on the bill, Section 1 changes to 13604 in the bill as introduced. Section 2 repeals the special zone licenses. Section 3 requires the special zone licenses to be converted to regular Class B licenses. Section 4 changes the effective date to Section 2, and Section 5 changes the effective date for the rest of the bill, which is July 1st. And happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. I have someone down as also oral witness, Jack Malani.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. Jack Malani, Baltimore County Licensed Beverage. This is just a cleanup bill from legislative transfers over the year. Worked with the liquor board and the administration. Pretty standard type cleanup. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Okay. There being none, this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 1474. Thank you. Yep. The next bill before us is House Bill 121. Delegate Szeliga.
On behalf of the delegation chair.
Oh, sure. Okay. Begin the testimony.
Yes. Again, my name's John Sanick on behalf of the Baltimore County Delegation Chair Ebersol and the sponsor, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee, HB 121, Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverages Sale for Off-Premise Consumption, allows Baltimore County restaurants to sell sealed cocktails to go when paired with a prepared meal. During COVID, restaurants successfully offered carry-out cocktails without incident. Customers embraced the convenience and restaurants relied on additional revenue to survive. The bill simply makes that practical flexibility permanent. Importantly, this proposal is modest and responsible. Class B and D license holders in Baltimore County already have off-sale privileges for beer, wine, and liquor without food purchase. Today, many purchase cans of products such as High Noons from restaurants, yet restaurants cannot legally sell their own freshly made cocktails, so HB 121 corrects that inconsistency. The bill includes clear guardrails. Cocktails to go are available for pickup orders only. They must be accompanied by a prepared meal. Sales end at 11 p.m. Containers must be sealed. Purchasers must be 21 or older and present a valid ID. And the bill does not apply to third-party services such as Uber Eats or DoorDash. And Howard County operates a similar program successfully, so HB 121 does not set precedent. And the bill was supported by the Baltimore County delegation unanimously, along with the amendment to change the sponsor to the Baltimore County delegation. And I ask for a favorable report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Malani.
Yes, Jack Malani, Baltimore County Licensed Beverage Association. I did take the time to check with the chair of the Howard County Liquor Board, which is also the councilman. He said they've had absolutely no problems. I think it's important to remember that in Baltimore County, a Class B or D can sell carry-out up till 2 a.m. if they choose. So this is actually a pretty good thing. It stops at 11. I think these folks have proven in the past that they can handle this, and it can help some of our restaurants, particularly on the water where they have boat traffic and what have you. And we would ask for a favorable report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Okay, I do actually just have one clarification. As it relates to the quantity of alcoholic beverages sold to an individual in a single transaction, is there a specific quantity or maximum?
There.
The wording in the document I have before me just says it may limit it, and I was just curious if there was already a maximum number that you were referring to for this particular bill.
Madam Chair, I believe the Liquor Board may adopt the regulations for this. I mean, currently, with our to-go off-sale license, there is no, well, the limits that the state would put on that, that would be possibly transshipped or something, but no, there's not currently, but I don't think we would have any problem working with the board to come up with a limit that you would find acceptable, because the whole intention of the bill is mainly for specialty cocktails. It's not large amounts of alcohol.
Sure, okay. Thank you so much for clarification. All right, thank you. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 121. The next bill before us is House Bill 914, that is Delegate Hartman, and that is a virtual testimony. He's logging in right now. Thank you. Hi, Delegate Hartman.
Yes, Madam Chair. What bill are we doing first? I'm sorry, the snow has hindered my ability to connect here.
Oh, we're on House Bill 914.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Delegate Wayne Hartman here to present House Bill 914, Worcester County Board of Licensing Commissioners membership. The purpose of the bill is to increase the number of members on the Worcester County Board of Licensing Commissioners from 3 to 5. The Worcester County Commissioners have provided a letter of support for the legislation, and the Worcester County House delegation has voted unanimously. That's a vote of 2 members. So it took a lot to get that support. I've also spoken with the Board of Licensing Commissioners to ensure that they're on board with the proposal. Worcester County serves more than 8 million visitors per year. Increasing the size of the Board of Licensing Commissioners provides more representation and additional input for decision-making, especially during the peak seasons when licensing activity and enforcement demands intensify. So thank you for your time and consideration of House Bill 914, and I believe we have some folks from Worcester County testifying.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. The next favorable witness I have is former Delegate Jeannie Hadaway-Riccio. Please begin.
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Subcommittee Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Jeannie Hadaway-Riccio. I'm here on behalf of the Worcester County Commissioners, and we respectfully request a favorable report on this legislation, which would increase the Board of License Commissioners members from 3 to 5. As many of you know, our county supports a year-round population of 54,000 residents, and we also see 8 million visitors annually, which means that we have one of the most active alcoholic beverages licensing environments in the state of Maryland. So increasing the membership of the board would help to improve quorum reliability. It would give us greater continuity in operations, and particularly during peak season times, it would help with licensing activity and enforcement demands. So with that, we would like to thank the sponsor for introducing the legislation and ask the committee for a favorable report on this bill.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Okay, not seeing any, then this concludes the House bill hearing of 914. The next bill before us is House Bill 1101, Worcester County Delegation.
Thank you,
may
Madam
begin,
Chair.
Delegate.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. For the record, once again, Delegate Wayne Hartman here to present House Bill 1101, Worcester County Alcoholic Beverages Temporary To-Go Event Permit and Class C Purdue Municipal To-Go Beer, Wine, and Liquor License. House Bill 1101 seeks to create a Class C per diem municipal to-go beer, wine, and liquor license and a related temporary to-go event permit in Worcester County. The Worcester County Commissioners voted unanimously in support of this legislation and coordinated with the Worcester County Board of License Commissioners to ensure alignment on implementation and oversight. The Worcester County House delegation voted unanimously as well in favor of the legislation. The town of Berlin and town of Snow Hill have also expressed their strong support. The Worcester County Board of License Commissioners will establish regulations for the licenses and permits and will issue them at their discretion. The board held a meeting last Wednesday to discuss and review the legislation and were met with overwhelming support from the business community. Local breweries and wineries in Worcester County also expressed interest in being included in this bill, so we are working with the county on the forthcoming amendment to add Class D license holders to be able to participate. Wycomico County adopted similar enabling legislation last year, which, Madam Chair, I'm sure you're very familiar with, which has been proven to be highly successful, so much so that we've even received a letter of support from the city of Salisbury because of the positive impact this has made in Wycomico. Passing this bill will give local restaurants and retailers the opportunity to increase sales, strengthen tourism, and community events in Worcester County and promote economic development. So what this will do is during a special event, this license could be obtained and it would allow in a confined area, in a certain container or cup or whatever, so it'll be very regulated and it'll allow in a very confined area establishments to have beer and wine to go and be consumed during a special event. So hopefully that makes it as clear as possible for you. And once again, looking for a favorable report.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. I have Ivy Wells that will be testifying in favor.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members. I'm Ivy Wells, Director of Economic Development for the town of Berlin. Tell you a story. Picture a Saturday morning in downtown Berlin. People from all over the region are pouring in for Oktoberfest, our busiest festival of the year. Band starts up, the sidewalks fill. Inside a restaurant on Main Street, the owner is watching it through the front window. The festival's finally here. Outside, just steps from their door, a beer truck opens its taps. And it's pulling customers away from the very businesses the event is meant to support. People step inside her restaurant. Can I grab a drink and take it out and hear the band? She has to say no. So they leave. They stand in line at the truck instead. This is the paradox. We create events to drive foot traffic to our locally owned restaurants from our locally owned restaurants. We close the streets, we bring in the bands, and then we build a wall between them and the very customers the event attracts. This legislation simply removes that wall. It lets the restaurant owners say yes. Yes, you can grab a drink and step outside. Yes, you can go listen to the music. And yes, your dollars stay inside the small business that pays its property taxes year round and keeps its lights on in February when there are no festivals at all. This isn't about encouraging more drinking. It's about fairness. It's about allowing the businesses that anchor our historic downtown to fully participate in the events designed to support them. Because in Berlin, our restaurants are not chains. They are families, they are mortgages, they are payroll for local residents. When we host a festival, we should not unintentionally sideline the very people who keep our town alive the other 350 some odd days of the year. Let's level the playing field. Let's be part of the event instead of watching it through their window. And just for the record, Town of Berlin is a top 10 Great American Main Street. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Ms. Wells. We know that you're not related to our chair, and we do appreciate the visual, because I could see myself on the streets in Berlin. And so, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, our next witness is Jeannie Hadaway-Riccio, who is also in favor of this legislation. We're just waiting to bring her back on the screen.
If you want the Worcester County weather report while you're waiting, we got hit pretty hard down here. We parts of 90 and 50 look like a war zone. I mean, trees just snapped, and it's the heavy snow and the 50-mile-an-hour winds and the soft ground from all the rain. State Highway's just doing a tremendous job clearing roads and everything. It's been quite a storm. So.
Okay. Well, certainly thank you for that report. And I know parts of the area still are without electricity, so good to see that you're safe and sound.
Many parts. We lost electricity last night, and internet's been come and go. So that was the reason for the challenges. But nice to see you there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's the first time in front of you as Madam Chair.
Thank you kindly, Delegate. Any questions from our committee? I know we're having like a dialogue going on up in here. Any questions? Okay. I'm not seeing any. Then this will conclude the House Bill 1101. The next bill before us is House Bill 991, Harford County Delegation. Good afternoon, Delegate.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairs and Vice Chair and the members of the Government, Labor, and Elections Committee. For the record, Delegate Teresa Riley, Chair of the Harford County Delegation, here to introduce HB 991, Harford County Alcoholic Beverages Class HC Health Club Beer Wine License Hours of Sale. This bill basically extends the selling of alcoholic beverages for on-premises consumption by 2 hours, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., changing the total time frame of consumption from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. This legislation is also supported by the House Senate delegation with cross-file SB 684, and also supported by our Liquor Control Board of Harford County, and both of those letters have been uploaded on your system. And I'm here requesting a favorable report. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Not seeing any. Then this concludes the bill hearing of House Bill 991.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Delegate. Now I would like to take House Bill 348, Delegate Rosenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. The mint julep is the drink of the day, the first Saturday in May in Kentucky at the Derby. But 2 weeks later, the drink of the day is the Black-Eyed Susan, along with Natty Boh's. However, this year there will be no liquor sold at Pimlico Preakness Day because there will be no race at Pimlico on Preakness Day. As you well know, the track is undergoing renovation and has closed for business until the Preakness next year. Under existing law, that would result in the revocation of the racetrack's liquor license. And the bill before you would maintain the license when operations resume, and from every point thereafter, when operations would be resuming Preakness weekend, or the weekend before the Preakness next year. So this is a bill that preserves the license at Pimlico when racing and entertainment resumes at the site. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. Michelle Wurzberger?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. feel free
Thank you,
to
Madam
testify.
Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Michelle Wurzberger. I'm the Deputy Executive Secretary of the Baltimore City Liquor Board. I'm here to support this bill. Like the good delegate said, it does preserve the life of the license while they're conducting the renovations, but there should be a small technical amendment that will also preserve the transfer that is currently that they're in the midst of. Baltimore City has lots of deadlines, and if you don't follow them, the license could expire. So this bill with the amendment will preserve both the life of the license and the transfer. And for that reason, we respectfully request a favorable report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Delegate Lehman?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Quick question. So this is essentially a pause in this license while the Preakness is being run in Laurel, and then it just resumes when the Preakness returns to Baltimore. Is that accurate? And is there any date specified in the bill? Because my understanding, and I represent the Laurel area, is it's unclear how many years, 1, 2 years, that the Preakness could be run in Laurel, depending on the reconstruction and how that goes.
Well, it's everybody's hope, and more than just a hope, that Pimlico is ready for the Preakness again next year, so that it would be run only at, as Charlie Ekman would say, lovely Laurel, for 1 year. And everybody's trying to attain that goal. So this bill would apply whether or not it comes back next year.
I was just going to suggest you might want to hedge your bets and say when it resumes.
It does. So, there is a wiggle room baked in, and so it preserves it up to 2029, which is a whole lot of wiggle room, frankly, and hopefully we won't need it. But just to be safe, yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure, thank you. Any additional questions? Not seeing any. Thank you. This concludes the bill hearing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. For bill hearing for House Bill 348. At this time, the next bill before us is House Bill 1526, Carroll County Delegation.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair Sample Hughes, Madam Chair Wells, Vice Chair Kerr, and honorable members of the GLE Committee. For the record, my name is Delegate Chris Tomlinson, and I'm here on behalf of the Carroll County House Delegation, and I'm testifying on House Bill 1526. This bill will establish a Class 1 distillery on-premises consumption permit in Carroll County. Under current law, distilleries in Carroll County cannot sell, prepare, or serve food or non-alcoholic beverages. These restrictions limit business growth and reduce potential revenue for local distilleries. They also place Carroll County at a competitive disadvantage as private parties and events often choose venues in neighboring counties that allow these activities. The bill also ensures proper oversight by requiring approval from the Carroll County Health Department and allows for Carroll's Board of License Commissioners to set an annual permit fee. There are several amendments that I'm hoping the committee will entertain. The first amendment simply makes it clear that the Class 1 distillery on-site consumption permit authorizes the permit holder to not just sell food, non-alcoholic beverages and alcohol, but also sell, prepare, and serve food, non-alcoholic beverages and alcohol. The second amendment is simply codifying what is already in practice. Permit holders already use their distilleries for events, both catered and non-catered, and we just want to make sure that this is in the statute. The third amendment is a little more involved. At the very beginning of this bill hearing, we heard from Delegate Solomon, who withdrew his statewide Class L legislation that would have given our Maryland-owned breweries, wineries, and distilleries the ability to sell Maryland-manufactured beers, wines, and spirits.
While there's not an appetite to pass statewide legislation at this point, we're hoping that there's still an opportunity for county-specific legislation to pass. Allegheny County already has a Class L license, and Frederick County's delegation is also introducing Class L legislation this very session that would impact Frederick County only. House Bill 1526 gives Carroll County distilleries the flexibility they need to grow, increase revenue, and remain competitive. It also creates more opportunities for residents to gather and support local businesses in their own community. House Bill 1526 was approved unanimously by Carroll County's delegation and Carroll County's Board of County Commissioners. Carroll County's Board of County Commissioners also supports, they also support this legislation, as you can see in your floor system. The delegation respectfully requests a favorable report on House Bill 1526 with or without the amendments. Thank you, Madam Chair Sample Hughes, Madam Chair Wells, Vice Chair Kerr, and honorable members of our committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We have 2 favorable witnesses, Jennifer Yang and Pam Meister, and they are both on our screens. Feel free to begin, Ms. Yang.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson and members of the committee. Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to testify virtually in support of HB 1526. My name is Jennifer Young. I am one of the owners of Covalent Spirits, a small distillery in Westminster, Maryland. I'm also speaking with the support of Patapsco Distilling Company in Sykesville, Maryland. We're currently the only 2 distilleries in Carroll County. Under existing law, the Carroll County Board of License Commissioners already issue an on-premise consumption permit to Class 1 distilleries, so this does not create a new concept of a permit. Instead, it codifies the practice, and with that gives us gives the county ability to add clarifying language, such as be able to offer food and non-alcoholic beverages. In terms of food and non-alcoholic beverages, there's clear precedent for this. In 2024, Frederick County delegation passed similar legislation. You would think it shouldn't be too controversial selling a soda or a pack of chips, but we have heard stories of other distilleries come under scrutiny for doing this. So we just want to be able to codify this and actually provide a better customer experience and better public safety in terms of selling food. In terms of being able to support other manufacturers from Maryland, we welcome the opportunity, similar to Allegheny County passes for 2019, to be able to also showcase other Maryland-made alcoholic products. Who best to promote Maryland-made than Maryland manufacturers? This not only helps get our brand out there, perhaps it might bring some visitors to our towns. It does also help our revenue. We've seen the industry shrinking and consolidating, and we want to do what we can to also help the overall industry. Thank you for your consideration, and we hope for a favorable report for HB 1526. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next witness.
Hi, my name is Pamela Meister. I'm the legislative liaison for Carroll County, and I'm here today for the Board of Commissioners to ask you for a favorable report for this bill. The 2 prior testimonies really did a great job of describing a lot of the intent of the bill and why we want to see this passed, but I just will echo those and just say this is a very straightforward, locally focused bill that provides flexibility to small distilleries and preserves responsible regulation at the same time. So the board believes it strikes the right balance and respectfully asks for a favorable report, and I'm here if I can answer any questions on their behalf. Thank you for your consideration and time.
Sure, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Okay, not seeing any. This will conclude the bill hearing of 1526.
Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. The next bill before us is House Bill 754, Wycomico County Delegation.
Good afternoon, Subcommittee Chair, Vice Chair. For the record, my name is Delegate Chris Adams, here to present House Bill 754. House Bill 754 aims to extend the hours of sale of a holder of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor golf course license in Wycomico County to match other counties, keeping in mind that golf courses go after tournaments. These are tournaments for charitable organizations, and so we're trying to match and compete against other counties for that. I would ask for the committee's favorable support of the bill.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate Adams. Any questions from the committee? Okay. Not seeing any. This will conclude the bill hearing for House Bill 754. The next bill before us is House Bill 1498, also Wycomico County delegation.
Okay, Subcommittee Chair, Chair, Vice Chair. For the record, my name is Delegate Chris Adams, here to present House Bill 1498 titled Wycomico County Class A Beer, Wine, and Liquor License Alterations. The bill seeks to make changes to the current requirements that a business must first operate a restaurant or a Class B license in order to qualify for a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. In addition, that Class A license holder, should you approve the bill, may not be issued to an establishment with a retail floor space of more than 3,500 square feet. And further, it limits the number of Class A licenses in the county to 3. However, only one of those licenses can exist per councilmanic district. So 7 councilmanic districts, a total of 3 licenses. With that, I would be asking for support of the bill.
Okay. Thank you, Delegate. We have 3 unfavorable witnesses, and those have all been changed to virtual.
Okay.
The persons that...
Any questions for me?
I'm sorry. No, not at this time, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. The virtual witnesses are Justin Collis, Jason Arrington, and Kevin Dennis. Mr. Collins, would you like to begin?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and committee members for allowing me some time today. There's an issue with this particular bill. If you would look at line 21 on page 2, it says not more than 1 license in a councilmanic district. We have 7 councilmanic districts. Line II, underneath of that, is the line that has been in the law for probably more than 2.5 decades, courtesy of Delegate Norm Conway. It's very simple. Not more than a total of 3 licenses in the county. The argument can be made that the wording that's been inserted, not more than 1 license per councilmanic district, could mean 7 licenses. And the population, the citizens of Wycomico County have made it very clear that they do not want more liquor stores in the county. I have spoken to several members' legal counsel, and their opinion is that language can be taken to court and force the issuing of 4 more licenses. Therefore, the citizens have made it very clear they do not want more liquor stores in the county. So this wording contradicts itself, and I don't believe that's in the best interest of the public. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Arrington. I'm sorry, Mr. Arrington's not on the screen. Mr. Dennis.
Hello. And thank you for taking my testimony. I am here in opposition yet of another modification to the Liquor Board Charter in Wycomico County. For someone who doesn't live in the county, it would appear just to be a normal modification, but for those who are paying attention, it appears to be, in my opinion, a modification geared to benefit just a very few, if only 1 business in the county, and not the constituency of the county as a whole. I know that subsequent to the last change made to the Liquor Board Charter, the contributions from the Liquor Board to the County General Fund were more than cut in half, and I can only wonder what these new changes will further do in the ability of the Liquor Board to contribute to the County General Fund. The money contributed by the Liquor Board to the county comes with no cost to the county, as the Liquor Board runs autonomously and uses no county funding whatsoever. The modifications presented here and previously seem to be paving the road in increments to be able to open more licensed liquor stores than are allowed currently in the charter. The last time changes to the Liquor Board Charter were presented to the legislator, the county is on record saying that there would be no more liquor licenses allowed in the county. Yet the progression in this bill seems to contradict that fact with the wording on page 2, lines 21 and 22, referenced by Justin just moments ago, with the 7 districts equaling 7 total liquor licenses. The bill also is somewhat contradictory with the line stating there'll only be 3 licenses in the county. So again, I agree with Justin on the contradictory nature of those 2 lines. And then one more thing, as a constituent, other than the standard county council meetings where items like this are brought up during the public comment section, there's never been a public forum provided by the county council or county executive to discuss any changes to the liquor board charter so that items of change could be focused on and discussed by the constituency specifically. Maybe we need to determine which of the above reference additions to the intent of the bill mean before moving forward, since they are contradictory. Thank you, and I hope for a negative review.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Ms. Monica Brooks.
To see you, Chairwoman Delegate Sample Hughes, to each and every member of the committee, and Chairwoman Wells in her absence. My name is Monica Brooks, and I'm here on behalf of Wacomico County NAACP, local clergy, and many community members who could not speak in this moment. As we are against and have serious concerns about House Bill 1498. Under our current law, Wacomico County is limited to the 3 Class A beer, wine, and liquor licenses. And this bill removes that cap and replaces it with 1 per council-managed districts. With 7 districts, that means an additional, potentially 4 more licenses. That's more than double what we currently have. And while this may appear to be a technical adjustment, it is a significant expansion. It is a significant expansion, expanding the number of licenses open to the doors to more liquor retail establishments. We must also speak to what is often left unsaid. For generations, communities of color have disproportionately carried concentrations of liquor stores and unhealthy retail environments within the community. When people drive through certain neighborhoods, certain assumptions are made when they see liquor stores or fast food places, and they make assumptions about neighborhoods. We believe investment in our communities should prioritize grocery stores with fresh produce, small businesses that actually contribute and enhance the community, and economic development that builds generational stability. When expansion primarily increases alcohol access, it sends a different message about what kind of growth is being prioritized. This bill more than doubles the current cap. That is not a small change, and it is a policy decision that will shape the character of our neighborhoods. The NAACP, alongside clergy and engaged residents, respectfully urge an unfavorable report on House Bill 1498. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the witnesses. At this time, are there any questions from the committee? Okay. Not seeing any. This concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 1498. The next bill before us is House Bill 1425. Delegate Clippinger. I'm sorry. Oh.
Thank you, members of the committee. I'm here, Delegate Luke Clippinger here to provide testimony on House Bill 1425, which makes a couple technical changes to processes within the Baltimore City Board of Liquor License Commissioners. I am joined here by Michelle Wurzberger, who's going to tell you more about them, and that is the shortest I will talk this year.
All right.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
gonna hold you to it, Delegate.
For the record, again, my name is Michelle Wurzberger. I'm the Deputy Executive Secretary for the Baltimore City Liquor Board. You should have my written testimony before you. This bill really is a technical bill that seeks to reduce unnecessary administrative burdens on our liquor licensees. There's 2 things that this bill does. The first one deals with special Sunday licenses for our Class A's. As you know, in Baltimore City, Class A's are 6-day licenses. They can sell alcohol Monday through Saturday. However, between Thanksgiving Day and New Year's Day, they can apply to get a special Sunday license to sell alcohol between 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. on those days. They pay a fee of $120 per day, but the law requires that they apply for that special Sunday license by September 30th. Nobody's thinking about Christmas or the holiday period at September 30th. So all we're trying to do is take away that deadline. It doesn't impact us negatively in any way, but it gives our licensees a little bit of wiggle room to continue to apply for those licenses. The second thing that the bill does is addresses personal property tax. I'm sure all of your jurisdictions, your licenses have a variety of requirements throughout the year that they have to satisfy. They have to satisfy their state taxes with the state comptroller, and they may or may not have to pay their personal property tax for your jurisdiction. For us, they have to do all of those things. However, they have to pay or satisfy their state taxes during our renewal period. Which is great because we're reviewing all of their applications for the annual renewal. But what the law currently requires that all licensees have to satisfy their personal property taxes by October 30th. Unfortunately, this is not everyone is required to, okay, I'll stop. We're just trying to move the deadline from October to March 30th so that it is in line with the renewal period.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me just make sure I understand.
Yes.
So the September 30th date that you were saying that they had to apply by September 30th.
Yes, ma'am.
Is now moving to?
We're getting rid of that
Getting rid of that one
completely.
altogether.
Yes,
And then
ma'am.
the second was the second half of a different
Yes.
subject.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Any questions from the committee? All right, not seeing any. Thank you. This will conclude the bill hearing of 1425.
Thank you.
The next bill before us is House Bill 998, also Delegate Clippinger.
Thank you very much, committee. Delegate Luke Clippinger for House Bill 998. This is the annual 46th District Alcoholic Beverage Extravaganza Bill. There are 3 parts to the bill this year. One part is it revives a BD7 license, which translate for Baltimore City Liquor is a 2 a.m. You can serve pretty much what you want alcohol-wise. From the 1600 block of Eastern Avenue to the 700 block of Alisana Street. So it moves it from one precinct into a precinct that is otherwise prohibited from taking on another BD7 license. The BD7 license at issue, I believe, was held by Ekiben at one point, but now is moving to another business, and that's coming with the support of the Little Italy Neighborhood Association. It is also allowing, in the second part, it allows for a not-for-profit organization who has an event at the convention center to accept alcohol as a donation and serve that alcohol at an event that they are themselves having at the convention center. That's something that has been out there for a little while that this legislation would allow. The third thing, there's a business called Culinary Architecture, which is presently located in the 40th District. It used to be in the 46th District, and the liquor license that they have at one point was in the 46th District, if I understand that correctly. Sadly, for the chairman of this committee, the Culinary Architecture store is moving to the 46th District now to Upper Fells Point. And so they would like to take their BD7 license from where they are right now in Pigtown to Upper Fells Point. So those are the 3 parts of the 46th District alcoholic beverage bill, which for us, only 3 parts is low.
All right.
Don't you laugh over there.
A lot of moving parts there, Delegate. Thank you. And Ms. Witzberger, would you be on this one as well? Okay, I had you signed up. All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the committee at this time? Okay. Seeing no questions, at this time, the Bill 998 has concluded. Our next bill is House Bill 999, and that is also Delegate Clippinger.
And it's about Class 9 limited distilleries. I didn't make this, I didn't do a deal to get it 999 for Class 9. Delegate Luke Clippinger for House Bill 999. Class 9 limited distilleries, at the risk of having the two people sitting next to me beat me up, it's kind of like the craft brewing version of a distillery. And so what this would allow is it would allow them to use 31,000 gallons of the amount that they're able to produce in a year to enter into agreements with other companies, so that if they have capacity to do more than just generate their own brand, that they can work with other companies to create and distill other beverages. And so to that end, I'm going to pass it over to my friends at Old Line, who are going to talk a little bit more about how it would impact their business. They're a distillery in the Highlandtown neighborhood of the 46th District.
Okay, and I have on my list Max Lentz, Arch Watkins, and Mark Laughlin.
Mark McLaughlin and Archer here. Who's the third person?
Max Lentz.
He got delayed for weather.
Oh, he got delayed. Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. You may begin.
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, thank you for allowing us to advocate for House Bill 999 this afternoon. My name is Arch Watkins. This is my business partner, Mark McLaughlin. We're the founders of Old Line Spirits, as mentioned, in the Highlandtown neighborhood of Baltimore City. House Bill 999 would allow holders of the Class 9 limited distillery license to contract distill for entities in small quantities. And this alteration is critical to Class 9 holders like Old Line, as we seek additional revenue channels in an increasingly challenging commercial environment. This ability to contract distill in small quantities will allow us to more efficiently utilize labor and equipment, making an economic case for hiring additional distillers, bottling employees, and purchasing additional manufacturing equipment. Additionally, we've been approached in the past by small brand owners looking for a small run of their product as a proof of concept. These entrepreneurs often don't meet minimum production requirements for Class 1 distilleries who don't want to go through the admin and operational hassle associated with small runs, and they also aren't ready yet for facility build-out. Under the current restrictions, we have had to turn these potential manufacturing customers away, and as a result, these emerging Maryland brands look out of state for their production needs to the detriment of capable local manufacturers in the state at large, is losing the additional revenue and the loss of potential nascent Maryland brand. So House Bill 999 would create a marketplace for this small batch contract production capability. We respectfully request a favorable report on this bill. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Next witness?
And I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right, are there any questions? Delegate Chisholm.
Yeah, for anybody up there, have you ever seen me in Old Line before? And do you know anybody?
In my district without permission?
Yes, I did. This is actually an outstanding establishment. I've been there. They do a great job. I'm not saying I do, but I do know other delegates that buy your stuff by the case. So I'll just leave it at that, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Chisholm.
All right, any other comments or questions from the committee? All right, not seeing any. Thank you so much for your testimony on House Bill 999. That concludes the bill hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, our next bill hearing is House Bill 766. Delegate Johnson.
Madam Chair, can I bring up my panel?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I'll just ask everyone to introduce themselves. I have Matthew Bowley. I'm going to get it right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and Finney Helmuth.
Yes.
All right. Raj Singh.
Yep.
And those are all I have for favorable at this time. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Delegate Fisher, nice to see you. You were on ECM with me at one point, so we miss you over there. Not so much, but thank you all for having us today. This bill is very simple to me. It allows indoor smoking, limited alcohol use, limited alcohol service in the establishment. What it also does is it also protects the workers that are inside the establishment. It limits the number of lounges that any one jurisdiction can have. It also keeps businesses focused on cigars and tobacco only. So there's a 70% rule where 70% of the revenue that's brought in by the establishment has to come from tobacco use or tobacco sales. It also the businesses also must have clear signage, ventilation, and it also has to have a acknowledgement from the employees in the establishment that allows the employees to know that they are susceptible to secondhand smoke. The bill also says that the businesses must comply with CPA audits and state registry. It has, it has local control, so the locals have the means to issue the licenses and manage the placement and the compliance. The bottom line is that the state is setting the table for safety and fairness. The locals manage the how and where. For all those reasons, this bill is fair and pragmatic. And for all those reasons, Madam Chair, I ask for a favorable report.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bowley.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Matt Bowley. Bowley, here on behalf of the premium cigar retailers in support of this legislation. The association is approximately 35 brick and mortar mom and pop retailers throughout Maryland. We are thankful to the Department of Health, ATCC, and all stakeholders who met in the interim to produce the work group report that I submitted in our testimony. We support the work group report. We have submitted amendments, or we shall be submitting amendments that work to further conform this legislation to the report's findings. Broadly, this legislation provides certainty and safeguards that don't exist today for alcohol sales by cigar retailers. It provides for a limited expansion. Only one license per 150,000 people may be issued by local liquor boards. This bill holds harmless the tobacconists who went to their local liquor boards and received a local liquor license. It gives them 2 years to come into compliance with the new guardrails. It is a limited expansion that your constituents want and will help keep these dollars in Maryland, as premium cigar lounges are permitted in some form by our neighboring states. Notably, in 2023, Connecticut and North Dakota authorized cigar lounges. Louisville followed suit in 2025. Overall, 28 states and DC have passed clean indoor air laws, and 25 of those 28 states have exemptions for cigar lounges. Last, Madam Chair, I'm sure that today and over the next few weeks, you will hear some impassioned testimony on this matter, maybe even some feedback from our members that differs from what you hear today. I appreciate the passion of all the stakeholders and encourage the committee to consider their views and certainly make the best choice based on the facts. As always, we look forward to working with the committee and other stakeholders over the next few weeks. With that, I'd like to turn it over to two of our members and urge a favorable report and thank Delegate Johnson for introducing the bill.
Sure, thank you. Finney Helmuth.
Good afternoon. My name is Feeney Helmuth, and I have served as the president of the Premium Cigar Retailers Association in Maryland since 2000, and I also own and operate the Humidor Cigar Shop located in the Cockeysville Hunt Valley area. Retail is challenging. Like many small family-owned businesses, we have had to continually adapt in order to survive. The bill represents an important opportunity for shops like mine to evolve and remain competitive. For more than 28 years, we have proudly offered health insurance and retirement benefits to our employees. They are part of our family, and they are all cigar enthusiasts. This legislation would allow us to expand operations, create additional earning opportunities for our staff, and strengthen our long-term stability in the state. This legislation ensures that premium cigar and pipe shops remain that. Premiums and cigar shops first, not a bar. The limited expansion proposed in this bill would simply allow Marylanders in every jurisdiction the opportunity to enjoy a cigar lounge in a responsible way. The bill also protects existing retailers by providing certainty and clarity for the BYO model at the state level. Not every retailer wants a liquor license. Many would prefer BYO, and this legislation ensures them the opportunity to do so. As I mentioned at the beginning, retail is not easy. This bill would provide a meaningful lifeline for small businesses like mine, while also generating additional revenue for the state. I respectfully urge the support of this legislation, and I sincerely thank Delegate Johnson for sponsoring this bill.
Thank you. Next witness, Mr. Raj.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Raj Singh, and my wife and I proudly own the Tinderbox in Waldorf. The Tinderbox opened in Waldorf in 1998. My wife and I bought it in 2013 from the previous owner, primarily because then and now it's one of the few cigar lounges with a liquor license in the state of Maryland. For 13 plus years, we've served an older professional clientele safely and responsibly. We've never had any issues, and we intend to keep it that way going forward. Last year, however, legislation threatened licenses like ours, even though we did nothing wrong. Thankfully, through a moratorium and a work group and Delegate Johnson, we have a path forward. What I'm asking for is protection of my license and those who have mine, which isn't many in the state, which will be counted also towards the cap, one license per 150,000 residents. We're not asking for an explosion of lounges. We're just ensuring fair treatment for those of us already operating responsibly and a small carve out for those that can get a license responsibly, like my colleague Feeney. With competition rising in DC, we want to continue enriching Maryland's communities fairly and safely and responsibly. I thank you and ask for your favorable support on our bill.
Thank you. At this time, are there questions from the committee? Delegate Stewart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for the bill. Just a quick question about the employee acknowledgement, asking the employees to acknowledge that they're basically in a secondhand smoke environment or whatever the language is. What's the purpose of that? Is that meant to like waive their legal claims?
I don't think there's any intent to waive a legal claim there. I think it's upfront, clear, disclosure to the employee, that they'll sign this form and obviously state and recognize that they're aware that they're going to be exposed to secondhand smoke.
Okay. One other question. I saw that the local licensing board, shall require a license application to include a building plan demonstrating sufficient air filtration and exhaust. That sufficiency language, is that tied to some kind of like measurable standard?
That was from the study.
Yeah. So there's a couple different, there's a study that's referenced in the work group report. I don't know that sufficiency language is pinged directly to that. There's actually in the work group report, some debate over, whether efficiency and air purification, would have any significant effect aside from the air quality and, sort of comfort in terms of the, in terms of what air filtration can do and achieve. So it's something that our cigar retailers, currently, every cigar lounge I've ever been to has to some extent. I think it's something that they'd be able to comply with.
So what happens like in terms of workers' comp, right? Like let's say they develop lung cancer, they're a longtime employee at a cigar lounge, with or without alcohol or whatever. How does it like work now under current law? Can they sue or otherwise go through the workers' comp process and say that the air quality wasn't good enough? Like is there some sort of statutory standard that courts look to?
I don't know that, but I will get that answer for you.
Okay, all right, awesome, thank y'all.
Okay, Delegate Solomon.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Delegate Stewart asked one of my questions, so appreciate it. I feel like he was reading my mind. And it's good to see you all. Thank you for being here. I guess one of the questions that I had was you mentioned specific language around healthcare or childcare related facilities. And I see even there's informational testimony submitted from MDH that seems to say that the bill matches what's in the work group recommendation. But the bill says on page 4, lines 1 through 4, that's section 2, it says the license is adjacent to a licensed healthcare facility or licensed childcare facility. But then the work group recommendation says properties adjacent to a healthcare or childcare / child-related facility. So I'm wondering why the discrepancy in the language and if you'd be open to updating that to reflect what's in the work group report.
Yeah, so essentially, we will be submitting a reprint to the committee that we've been working on with bill drafting, ATCC, others, to bring the draft of the bill into conformance with the work group report. So that's one of the discrepancies we will reconcile.
And then what is child-related defined? Is that like if you have a tutoring center, if you had like an after-school program, if you had like a boys and girls club, what is there a formal definition of child-related somewhere? I know we have a formal definition of childcare, licensed childcare facility, but what would encompass child-related?
Yeah, I would actually say that that ambiguity is something that gives us concern. That's something why we would prefer, like a licensed child care facility or a licensed child care center or a licensed healthcare center, something where there is clarity, because we would prefer that there's not ambiguity.
Yeah, I think part of the ambiguity here, though, is I think the committee could discuss, because obviously child care facility is just one small chunk of a child-related facility that could be influenced by this. So I feel like if you all had recommendations of maybe a specific list, and maybe that exists somewhere in the education code, but I think that would be really helpful as we consider this. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you. Let me go to Delegate Roof.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Delegate. Good to see you. Just wanted to ask a clarifying question. In the bill, it says that someone can consume alcohol as long as, and one of the conditions is the customer purchases and consumes a product sold by the license holder during the time the customer is on the premises. How is that continuous? Do they need to be continually consuming the product in order to consume alcohol, or how is that enforced?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, because there is certainly a challenge in how that would be enforced in any setting. I think the intent is that, only products, premium cigars and pipe tobacco that are purchased, by the cigar retailer, at the lounge, are eligible to be consumed, alongside the alcohol in the lounge, in addition to, food that may be brought in or things of that nature, or other items that could exist in the lounge.
And so if I understand correctly, the tobacco, whatever the correct name is, would be allowed to sell other products as long as they're not more than 30%. Could those products include food?
So yes, in terms of food, what we would ask for and what we would advocate for is, there should be prepackaged food, things of that nature. We've had discussion with the Restaurant Association and others regarding food. We're not interested in obtaining food licenses or becoming prepared kitchens. We're not interested in that. But food should be an option in these lounges.
So someone could theoretically purchase a bag of chips and a cigar or whatever, sit there for an hour smoking, drinking, eating chips. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so how is that not a slippery slope, even if it's limited to 30%, that sort of leads us down a path of undermining the goals of the Clean Indoor Air Act?
I think this is why many states have exemptions for cigar lounges. It is a very small, market. It is a very small slice of the tobacco market. So, I think this is something that we see in a lot of states. I think it's something that we see in our neighboring states, and we figure we ought to keep those dollars in Maryland.
Well, I certainly think it's important to support small businesses, but how is it fair to the small businesses that are restaurants or liquor stores that have abided by the Clean Indoor Air Act?
Yeah, I would say to them that it's a 70-30 requirement. A restaurant, could go out, a restaurant owner could go out, start a cigar shop if they wanted to, and potentially obtain a liquor license at a different premise or a different facility, but they'd still be subject to that 70-30 split. So that 70-30 or 70% of the revenue must be from premium cigars, pipe tobacco, and other products. So it is a cigar lounge first, not a restaurant.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure. Thank you. Delegate Schindler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Delegate Johnson, for bringing the bill. I just had one clarifying, just to make sure I understand the language right. In the bill, it mentions that there is the ability to issue one license per 150,000 residents. But just to clarify, the counties that do not have 150,000 residents, is that just the default of one license?
Correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Delegate Wu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so thank you, Delegate, for bringing forward the bill. I think this is kind of just a question for the whole panelists. We hear concerns about the clean air, indoor safety, and think about the premier cigar. Is that possible kind of lead to the slippery slope about a premier cigarette? Is that maybe in the future, or what exactly the sentiment here?
I don't see a premium cigarette coming. I mean, I can't speak to 10, 20 years down the line necessarily, but this is a market that is long established. I mean, I don't know how long have premium cigars, been a separate product category, several hundred years, So I think it's a product category that reflects, this limited market demand that, seemingly cigars and scotch kind of just go together, right?
I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Delegate Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you. It's my understanding, or certainly I've witnessed when you go into some cigar stores that don't have a liquor license, which is most of them, that patrons bring in their own liquor. And so isn't that correct for the most part? Is that what you've witnessed? And I also saw the fiscal note. It said that there's no impact in terms of revenue coming in, but by definition, if you have 100 cigar stores and they could potentially have a liquor license, obviously this has limitations in it, that there would be probably significant revenue coming to the state, right?
I think that's correct.
Okay. And when people go into a cigar store, whether they work there or whether they go there, that's a conscious decision, right? I mean, they're going in there because they want to buy a cigar, or they want to smoke a cigar, or they want to sit down and smoke a cigar. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. So when someone goes to a pot shop to buy marijuana, they're going there specifically for the purpose of buying marijuana. No one made them go there. And I just also wanted to point out, and this is one of the benefits of having been on ECM, I guess, is it's interesting. Many of the same people who have unfavorable testimony are the same people who are silent on the marijuana stuff. It's just remarkable to me. It's like marijuana good, cigar bad. It's nonsense. I'm not asking you to comment on that, but in the other states where this occurs, that is to say, where you have a cigar store, like in West Florida, they have a Rocky Patel store. It's this massive store. And it's very high-end. It's in Naples, Florida. They have a very high-end waiters and waitresses, and they light the cigar for you, and they bring you a glass of wine or whatever you want. It's its own standalone building, and it has great HVAC system. Obviously, it's Florida, so there's more open space. I mean, that's what you would envision as well, for the most part, right? Great air cleaners and so forth.
Certainly great air ventilation, yes.
Okay. And Raj, I mean, you and I have known each other for a long time. You have those air systems in your place in Waldorf, right?
We do, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably one of the busiest places in the state, I would think.
Right, and we have a very extensive maintenance program to make sure they operate and function well every day.
And you already have a liquor license, right?
I am, yes, I do.
So you're here because you want predictability.
That, and because we almost lost ours last year, so we just want to be protected in our investment going forward.
You want predictability. You bought a place that had a liquor license. They sell cigars. You bought it that way. And now the state has this lack of predictability, which could literally run you out of business.
Exactly.
And that's why you guys are here.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I'm sure. Okay, thank you, Delegate. Delegate Klippinger.
Go in a little bit of a different direction. In a district with the largest number of liquor licenses in the state, if there is existing law that says that you cannot add any more liquor licenses to a particular precinct, is there anything in the bill that says that you have to abide by that existing language that says that you cannot add licenses to that particular precinct?
So ultimately, the local liquor boards will have the discretion. It'll be may.
So they theoretically could add a liquor license to a district that perhaps, or precinct that already had 41 liquor licenses?
Yeah, I would suppose that is a possibility, that they would have that discretion. But there's, of course, a process for that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for our favorable witnesses? Okay. Thank you for a favorable panel. Now I would like to move to our favorable with amendments. Those persons testifying are Steve Wise and Jack Maloney.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Steve Wise here on behalf of the Maryland State Licensed Beverage Association. This is the Association of Bars, Restaurants, and Taverns. Our amendment, we understood there were going to be amendments from the proponents, so I haven't drafted them, but we will. But the amendments are to clarify that this is a retail license. The bill is clear on that will be issued by the local liquor board. But there's a number of provisions in the code that govern the normal process of issuing a license, renewing the license, and those types of things. What criteria does the board look to when they consider the license? And while it may be implied in the bill that those apply to these licenses, we would want to have some language in to make that clear. So that will be the nature of our suggested amendments. Okay. Happy to answer any questions.
Sure. Are there any questions at this time from the committee? Okay, not seeing any. Thank you so much for your testimony.
Mr. Maloney had to go across the street, so.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next set of witnesses that we will call up are those who are unfavorable. The first one I have is Lance Patrick. The next one that I have is virtual, so we'll begin with you, sir. What's your name?
Laura Hale.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I skipped over it. Thank you. Please come forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As Vice Chair, for the record, my name is Lance Kilpatrick. I'm the Government Relations Director for the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. You have a written testimony, but I would like to say this. Economic development, entrepreneurship, these are reasons often given in support of policy proposals to bring wealth and opportunity to individuals. I fear, however, that in the last number of years, economic development and entrepreneurship have become words that end up shutting down health and well-being concerns for individuals. The legislation before you today is promoted as economic development and entrepreneurial opportunity. What it does do, however, is roll back health and safety protections for workers and individuals while promoting dangerous lifestyles. We know that cigar smoking causes cancer of the oral cavity, larynx, esophagus, and lungs. We are learning that alcohol consumption leads to increasing risks of at least 7 types of cancer: breast cancer in women, colorectal, esophageal, liver, oral cavity, pharynx, and larynx cancers. The World Health Organization classifies alcohol as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as tobacco and asbestos. Yet here we have legislation which would promote those cancer-causing activities in social settings. We are creating a false, safe environment of successful individuals gathering to discuss important things while partaking in distilled beverages and tobacco. From 21 to 22, cigar smoking amongst youths has actually increased. Why are we creating a role model to be emulated that would be harmful to the health of our youth? Funding for tobacco prevention and cessation has been reduced in the last 2 budget cycles in Maryland. We should be focusing on how we can reduce tobacco and alcohol consumption. We should not be creating new opportunities to promote tobacco and alcohol use. Please oppose this legislation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Hale.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Laura Hale, the Director of Government Relations with the American Heart Association, and we stand in strong opposition to this legislation. We know that tobacco use is detrimental to your heart and well-being. We are deeply concerned at this normalization of indoor smoking happening again. When you all passed the Clean Indoor Air Act, you did a wonderful job at protecting Marylanders. And within that, there was a small exemption looking at cigar shops to try a cigar, and then the term incidental was used. What that has come to in the space is that incidental has been used for liquor licenses, which was never the intent of the legislature, and we're deeply concerned at what this will mean. Filtration systems don't work. At the end of the day, there's no way to have indoor smoking be safe for those who are employed there or safe for those who are sitting inside. We really want to make sure that this is not normalized, and we ask for an unfavorable report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the unfavorable that are here in person? Any questions from the committee? Delegate Roof?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you both for being here. There are some who would say it's a choice to go to these places, and so we shouldn't take away people's choice, even if it's a health impact. How would you address that?
I think we really have concern at the end of the day when we think about our employees. People who work a job are going there to get paid, and those who are working, especially in the food service, have a certain number of options, and they deserve to have a safe environment wherever they're working, and so we don't really consider that a safe choice for exposure to secondhand smoke.
Mr. Kilpatrick, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, I would just say, historically, that argument has been raised in situations such as coal mines, asbestos removal, textile industry, right? And we, in our better judgment, decided that despite the fact that theoretically that was the option of the individuals to work in those environments, that it was wrong and that we needed to create workplace protections for those individuals.
So beyond the workers, for the people who go there to maybe sit and drink and smoke and have a bag of chips, is there an economic cost to society?
Yes, I mean, there's healthcare costs at the end of the day. When we allow people to smoke inside, there's going to be long-term healthcare outcomes and what that means, as well as to normalize this behavior.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Delegate Fisher?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. So, Mr. Kilpatrick, I'm just curious, would you recommend then that all tobacco products just be illegal in the state? I mean, it's a fair question, right? Based on your testimony.
Thank you for the question, Delegate, and it is fair. I would point out in this scenario, right?
I just mean in general.
Yeah, so.
Per your testimony,
look,
that's what it sounds like.
Ideally, those things that cause cancer, we would like to see eliminated, right? Now,
how about tobacco, though? Because that's what the question is.
I think in this instance, what we have is a social setting where people that may not be actually partaking, but have been asked to join in those scenarios in a situation where the air cannot be 100% purified, right? They don't necessarily have a choice.
I'm confused. You're saying that when someone makes a decision to go into a cigar lounge and its only purpose is to sell cigars, and you can also buy a drink, that they don't know that it's a cigar lounge?
Well, I would say, not to contradict you, but to contradict you, you just pointed out that it isn't just about buying a cigar, right? It's also going to buy a drink. My guess is that there are people here in this room that have gone to have the drink.
No, that's not true. That is. I can tell you right now, with cigar smokers, non-cigar smokers would never go into a cigar lounge to have a drink. I mean, that's 100% the case. And I'm just saying, I would recommend that you talk to the cigar lounges, and I'm sure that they will. You'll never find anyone in there who doesn't. If someone doesn't like smoke, they're not going to go into a cigar lounge. The other question I was going to ask, and this is really important about actually being productive on the issue, is Dr. Polsky was the health officer for all health officers for the state of Maryland, and he would routinely come into ECM and he would advocate for higher and higher penalties for retailers that sold cigarettes to minors. Presumably that would apply to cigar lounges too. And so when we said, well, why don't you provide a citation to the minor? And remember, in this case, it's not even 21, so they're really not a minor, they're 20, and they're 19, and they're 18. But nonetheless, provide a citation to them, including a minor, somebody who's under 18, and have a teaching moment where then they have to go to a cessation class. And he opposed that. And I've always been really curious because it seems like, and I'm not saying that you do, would you oppose that?
Well, the law clearly states that there should be no sales to those 21 or under. Sure. We have cessation programming in place where local health departments will send individuals who are underage to see that retailers are conforming with the law.
Sure. But that wasn't the question. That exists. What I'm saying is, and what is not a requirement is the law, it penalizes the retailer, rightfully so, because they're selling to a minor. But what is the teaching moment to the minor? Why not have a citation to the minor that they have to take a cessation class? Now, because right now that's not a requirement, and it would also help to achieve your goal. Is that something that you would advocate for? Because in ECM, the health officers were against it. So is that something that you would be for?
Well, I'll say this, since I have not studied that part of the issue specifically, I'd be open to having a further conversation with you about it.
Okay, and how about?
We've looked into the idea of personal use and possession, PUP laws, as it refers to minors. They're not effective at the end of the day. When we look at actually getting kids to stop, we find that further exposure to the criminal justice system is not how we get kids to help to be part of it. It's not a criminal.
The person that is in trouble is the retailer. A citation is like a ticket to the minor or to the person who's buying the tobacco underage. So you're not criminalizing. It's not a criminal. And see, this is the nonsensical argument that you all have been given in ECM for years, which is why you have no credibility. If you really wanted credibility, you would say 100% there should be a teaching moment for the minor so as to catch this early and have them take a cessation class. But you're against it. So I find that really remarkable. I'll just give you an opportunity to explain why you're against it. Thank you.
And honestly, when we look at what is effective, we look at the research, and every decision and every policy that the Heart Association supports is steeped in what the background research says. And what the research has said is that exposing children to the criminal justice system is not an effective way to help kids to quit, and that it is more effective to look at the retailer as part of the process, as I've stated. But thank you.
Okay. Vice Chair Kerr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. You brought up workplace conditions, and a thought came to my mind about a server who works in an establishment that provides entertainment, live entertainment, where the music can be really loud. Now, you might not know this because I know that this is not your area, but are there similar workplace protections to guard against excessive exposure to loud noise for someone who works in that type of an environment? And I'm just thinking that may be somewhat analogous to what you're wondering about someone who chooses to work in a cigar store, someone who chooses to work in a venue that has loud music and understands that that is a condition under which they will work.
Well, Delegate, myself, as you correctly pointed out, that is not my area of expertise. As a musician, you probably have more experience in this area than I do.
And more hearing loss as well.
Same as well. I don't have as much background in that particular space and where there could be ways to safely modify that risk in a space that there's not a way to modify with smoking.
Thank you both. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, you're welcome. Delegate Lehman.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. And thank you for your testimony. So an issue that came up frequently around our debate regarding the legalization of recreational cannabis was the impact on nearby residents or tenants. Is there any way to protect any adjacent businesses if this were to be approved, or residents if it's a mixed-use development, and should that be addressed?
There's no way to protect anyone. The smoke will go through the walls. There's no ventilation system that has been proven effective at stopping secondhand smoke from moving from one building to another. And as you pointed out with the marijuana spaces, you all made the wonderful decision for public health to make sure that there's no indoor marijuana smoking, which the Heart Association did comment on in support of as well, to make sure there was no indoor smoking. Thank you.
Okay. Delegate Roof?
Thank you for the second bite at the apple, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
So first of all, you were in the previous line of questioning, you were interrupted, both of you, in the middle of a thought, and I wondered if you had anything you wanted to continue to finish your answer.
When we look at these spaces, we really think that normalizing indoor smoking is a problem at the end of the day. And looking at this legislation, it would do so. We're very much concerned on what that means for youth. And looking at, we're very supportive of evidence-based strategies, and this would be weakening the evidence-based strategy of clean indoor air. So thank you.
So when you say normalizing, you mean in terms of the fact that people can now smoke in a social situation as opposed to, I mean, under this bill, as opposed to currently where the intent is for them to sample the product. Is that?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I just wanted to just ask the witnesses with regards to the child-related and health facilities. Is that do you think that's a good measure of having that in place, that as a way to level of some protection?
I think that's not enough. And I think the way it's currently written in the bill is very limited. That is one factor that is of concern, but there are certainly others on when we think of how we can protect people from secondhand smoke.
And Madam Chair, if I may, one of the things that we've talked about, right, just the fact that the buildings are adjacent is a problem in and to itself because the walls don't stop the smoke from being. So a standalone building would be a better situation. Then you wouldn't have to worry about how do we define child-related facilities. I would point out, right, as Delegate Solomon pointed out, right, toy stores, candy shops, right? You can see those things, which are perfectly wonderful small business opportunities that shouldn't be inhibited as well, right? But you can certainly see how a mom and dad would not want to take their child to pick up a toy if it's right next to a cigar lounge because they don't want to be promoting that type of situation while their kid goes into the store, hopefully not to buy a candy cigar.
Oh, boy. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your testimony. I would now like to move to our virtual unfavorable witnesses, that being Paul Billings and Kristen Jemison. Okay, you may begin, Mr. Billings.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the members of the committee. My name is Paul Billings. I live in Silver Spring in District 18. I'm proud to have Delegate Crutchfield, Delegate Stewart represent me. I'm a volunteer with the American Lung Association in Maryland. I'm here in strong opposition to HB 766, which would allow for cigar bars in Maryland, significantly expanding locations within the state that allow indoor smoking and exposing more people to secondhand smoke. The bill would undermine Maryland's Clean Indoor Air Act, a law I strongly advocated for in 2007. Now is not the time to roll back common sense health protections. There's a myth perpetuated by the cigar industry and their allies that so-called premium cigars do not pose health threats. This is false. Secondhand smoke kills, even secondhand smoke from so-called premium cigars. It causes coronary heart disease, stroke, and lung cancer in adults who do not smoke or use tobacco products. Decades of research have demonstrated that there's no safe level of exposure to toxic secondhand smoke. Ventilation cannot remove the toxins. Let me repeat that. Ventilation cannot remove the toxins to protect people, including workers in these establishments and those working in neighboring or adjacent buildings. This is a worker health issue. When the General Assembly originally passed the Clean Air Act, they did so to protect the public and workers from the risk of exposure to secondhand smoke. Creating a loophole to allow cigar bars to operate undermines our successful and popular clean air statute and threatens the health of workers. I ask the committee to continue its commitment to protecting the health of all Maryland residents and report unfavorable on HB 766. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
You're welcome. Ms. Jimmonson?
Hi, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Kristen Jimison, and I am the Regional Advocacy Director for the Mid-Atlantic for the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. I'm just here to echo my public health colleagues in strongly opposing this bill and maintaining protection of Maryland's strong nationally recognized smoke-free laws. This bill creates a significant exemption to those laws, and we are concerned that this will open the door for more establishments to bypass existing protections and create loopholes that could expand indoor smoking across the state. This may undermine decades of progress in protecting Marylanders from secondhand smoke. The only effective way to protect the public, workers, and especially our youth is to maintain 100% smoke-free indoor environments. We urge the committee to oppose this bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. At this time, are there any questions from the committee for the witnesses? Okay, there being none, then this concludes the bill hearing for House Bill 766, and this concludes the work of the day for our GLE Subcommittee Alcohol hearing. Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to sit in the big seat, and have a good day.